Hello, I'm excited to tell you today about one of my very favorite instruments, the flute. One of the first flutes was found near Germany about 35 or 40,000 years ago, and it was made out of an animal bone. And some other flutes have been found throughout the years and have also been made out of bear bones and other animals' long bones. But this one in near Germany has been confirmed as one of the very first actual flutes to be found. So back then they used to just cut holes in animal bones, a hole for you to blow your air through, and then some other holes for where your fingers go. But the flute is a woodwind instrument, meaning we use our air to blow across and down into a hole to produce a sound. And so as time went on, they figured that bones were not the easiest thing to blow into, and over time started making flutes out of wood. And I just happened to have my great-grandfather's flute that he played in 1901 in President McKinley's inauguration parade. So this flute, the head joint where we blow our air, is made out of ivory, and you can see the hole where we blow our air is down into the ivory. And so the rest of the flute is made out of ebony wood. And you can see there are 6 holes cut into the wood, and then some other metal keys that are added on top to make different notes come out. So anyway, this flute is from the late 1800s. And like I say, as time went on, flute makers decided to add different keys just to get different sounds. You can see my pinky can use these keys, and then my right hand pinky can use any of these 3. But as you can see, these 6 holes are all different shapes and sizes, and they're different distances apart. So my hands being pretty small, I have a hard time stretching to reach these keys. And I'm glad I've got the modern day flute that I will show you here in just a minute and show you the differences and how much easier it is to play. So here is Mary Had a Little Lamb, hopefully, on this very old flute. As you can see, it's kind of hard to blow and get all those keys to sound. And so my left hand pinky, if I press this key down, it's this sound. And then if my right hand, if I can reach all of these guys and then add this key back here, we'll see what sound that gets. Again, like I say, I'm very happy to have the flutes today because this would be very hard for me to make a living playing. So anyway, the flute, you can see it's pretty big up top and it gets smaller as we come down to the end. So this is a very, very old flute, and here is, you can kind of compare, here is the modern day flute. Late 1800s, 1900s or so, flute makers decided to start making flutes out of metal. This one is silver, and you can see it has quite a few more keys to it. But if you took, let me set this one down. If you took all of these keys and bars off of this, you would have holes in the body of the flute. And so these keys just make it easier for the notes to come out more consistently or more often. And then if we added more keys, then we can obviously make different sounds and more notes out of your flute. And then where you blow your air, your head joint, now we have a lip plate, which helps us direct our air across and into the flute a little easier to make a little bit prettier sound, a little bit more consistent sound. And you can see that the flute is the same thickness, and it does not get smaller like the older flute gets smaller. So here is Mary Had a Little Lamb on the modern flute. can also play really nice, pretty low notes. So here is Mary Had a Little Lamb down low. So for that very low note I just played, that's a low C. So I've got all of these fingers down, plus this weird shaped pinky key, plus this first key that we call one of our rollers. So my pinky can just roll and play a low C, or if I add this one, it gets low B. So the more fingers I add, the lower my notes get. And low B is the lowest note possible on this flute. And we can also play some high notes on flute. So here is Mary Had a Little Lamb up in the third octave of notes. So pretty sound in all three ranges of the flute. And one other thing the flute gets to do is trill. And what trill is you move back and forth between two notes very fast. So these two little bitty keys right here, these are two of my trill keys. If I move them at the same time, I get this sound. If I just move one, or sometimes I can just trill really fast by lifting one key and going next door to the next note. So that's one of the really fun things about playing the flute. And one of my favorite songs to play with trills is Happy Birthday. So here is Happy Birthday with some trills. So that's Happy Birthday with some trills. So as you can see, quite a bit of difference in flute design and where we blow our air and all the different sounds we can get, and how the modern instrument is a whole lot easier to play than one of our older instruments with just a few keys. We get a whole lot more notes out of our modern flute. So I hope you have enjoyed your flute history lesson today, and I hope you have a very blessed day.